Hi, in this second video, I'm going to go through step by step how we can design by taking into account ergonomic and anthropometry factors. Really, these are the four steps in which we design. The first part is we really need to decide who we are going to design for, which body measurements are relevant to our design, and the third step will be to decide whether we're going to design we're going to generalize our design by taking averages, or are we going to design for a specific group of people under the extremes. And the last part is to consider other human factors that you have observed in your research. Now, the first step to decide who you're designing for, you can see that here we have four different groups of people: the young children, the working adults who enjoy holidays and stuff like that, the teenagers, the emo generation, and the elderly. It is important when you decide who you design for that you don't say that you're going to design for your grandmother, for your brother, for your sister. Categorize a group of people. Who is your target market? Who is your target group? Always deal with a group of people, because when you design something, we try not to customize for one person. In this case, we want to design to cater for a group of people, a specific group of people. So generally, in your design, it'd be good to state whether you're designing for children, for working adults, for teenagers, or for the elderly. So your user profile, or rather the persona profile of your target group, is very important. And what do we look out for in the persona of each group of people? Well, you need to decide, you need to find out more what is their lifestyle, what is their behavior like, what do they normally like to do, what are their likes and dislikes, what are their likes and dislikes, the environment that surrounds them, their relationship with people, who do they deal with. Like, for example, teenagers normally relate more with their friends, children will relate more with their parents, working adults relate more with their bosses, and their accompanying attitudes. From there you find out a little bit more about this person and a little bit more about this group of people, and you will know how to design for them. Also take note of the design elements that he or she looks for. Some examples of this could be, like, for children, they prefer bright colors. Working adults, they tend to be more boring. They go for dark colors like black, gray. And teenagers, well, they are still finding themselves, so we have a broad range of colors that suit them. Some of them, usually teenagers tend to be attention seeking, so they'll go for a shock element more than anything else. And lastly, you need to consider his or her values and try to incorporate these values into the design. Once you have determined who you're going to design for, the next part is to decide what are the relevant body measurements. This part here deals with anthropometry. When we talk about the relevant measurements, what do I mean? If you are designing something that is going to be used by the hand, you don't go and measure the leg. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're going to design something that is going to be used by the hand, then you've got to determine what are the dimensions that you need. For example, over here we have the iPhone. Yeah. So what are the dimensions relevant if you're going to design the iPhone? Well, there are basically four that I can think of. First, you need to determine the length of the thumb, because the thumb is going to press the thumbnails over here. So you're going to make sure that your thumb will be able, the user's thumb will be able to reach all the thumbnails over here. The second dimension would probably be the size of the fingertips. And when you know the size of the fingertips, you are able to design how big this thumbnail should be. Because if you design it too small, you find that the thumb might press two thumbnails at one shot, two icons at one shot, and then you're going to have a problem. So the designer will probably have to consider what the size of normal adult thumbnail is, to determine the size of the icon. Next, I'll probably have to consider the span of the palm to determine the grip, and of course the length of the fingers, whether it can wrap around the, the phone. So in your own design, you got to determine what are the relevant body measurements, and you got to state it inside your design folio. So, and do more research on it, and see how your, more importantly is really how your ideas change based on your research. Your